This and all episodes of the podcast have been brought to you by our generous patrons over at Patreon, the DayZ podcast. If you're interested in finding out more about how you can support the show each week, then please click the link in the description down below to find out more information about Patreon, the DayZ podcast. Thank you for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 35 now, isn't it, Brim?
I do believe so. I forgot what my push to talk button was then. I'm doing well, aren't I?
Oh, mate. This week we have the one, the only Mass, who I don't think there's many servers out there that aren't running your Mass's mods, mate.
Yeah, it's I'm very popular.
I
don't know why.
We even had someone just in chat there saying, Dark Mando, he's going to message you. He's got some money to throw at you to do a mod. But, mate, I think part of the popularity of your mods is, they're just pretty much general items that most people, like, and you've got such a wide variety. Like, you and I in chats, one of the things I love the most is your gun rack. I think it's the best gun rack in the game.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's just it looks like it's homemade. Yeah, because it is homemade. That's the point.
The dresser with the drawers is pretty cool. I recently discovered that on a server, and I quite enjoyed thinking about getting that going. That looked really cool because I've got one that's somewhat similar looking. That's not quite as nice looking as the one in the mod pack. IRL is not quite as good as in game anymore, but that I wasn't expecting that to be there.
Well, the whole point of the dresser was on my server on New Dawn. I had a group that was fairly large at that point, and everybody was just dedicating entire tents and stuff to clothing items and stuff. And I was like, "There's a better way to do this." So I made an item that takes just clothing items. And now you can have as many dressers as you need for all your clothing items instead of just filling tents to the brim with clothing items.
Helkiana's in chat saying, what about mine? I love yours too, Helkiana, but I like Mass's one because it's, like you said, more homemade style as opposed to looking like something that just came from a military barracks or a flat pack from IKEA or something like that. But yeah. So, Mass, how long have you been modding for, mate?
Well, let's see. My mod, whenever I first released it, it was my very first mod, and I had no experience prior to that. So, one moment, and I can actually tell you exactly whenever I started modding. That was November 17th, 2018. So, there you go. I've been modding for that long.
I would have expected it to be a lot longer, considering how much you've done. I've only been in the DayZ community properly myself for about 2.5 years, properly by myself, and it seems like it's so long ago since your many items mod pack came out. It seems inconceivable that it's only been that short amount of time.
Yeah, well, the only experience I had back then as well was a little bit of Photoshop. I just overlaid textures, and I put a lot of time into just these really crappy retextures. I'd make a camouflage and then overlay it on top of a vanilla texture and then upload it. And the way I did my configs back then was all wrong as well. I ended up having to revise my mod several times because I just didn't know what I was doing all too well. And I had no experience at all with anything except for Photoshop.
What's the mod you're most proud of?
I had a lot of free time though. The mod I'm most proud of, well, I think it's my my Masters Many Item Overhaul mod. I think I'm the most proud of, but a good second would definitely be Winter Trinaris, because I put a lot of effort into that as well, keeping it updated and keeping it. I made some changes to it that now nobody would probably use the mod without, like the sound effects, like you're running around and you hear the snow and stuff. I added that. I added the snowy zombies. That was hell. I redid the snow textures too. All sorts of stuff.
It seems strange, like something so what would maybe seem so insignificant, such as the sound of the snow crackling under your feet on a winter map. It seems like something so many people would miss. But like you say, it's now we couldn't imagine Winter Chernarus or a winter map in DayZ without that being a thing.
Yeah, I also did the ambience. So if you notice the ambience changes in Winter Chernarus, it makes the map feel colder as well. I did that as well.
I love your stew that you've got, the stew recipe as well. I remember when that first came onto DayZ Down Under, I was running a trader at the time, and I made it kind of my mission to always try to have cooked stew. So whenever I had customers come to do a trade, part of every transaction, I would give them a bowl of stew. Just sounds stupid, but it was just something different to, separate us from the other traders who were on the server as well. We provided a more homely service.
At that point in time, I wanted to implement like proper recipes and stuff into the game, and I may still do that at some point. Well, actually, you know something a little bit about that. But yeah, whenever I first implemented the stew, that was the goal, just to make the game more in-depth and immersive.
I've just been flicking through all the different items you've got in the Masses many item overhaul. Probably one of my favourites is the Wolf suppressed AR. I love that gun. I fucking love that gun. I don't think I've ever killed anyone with it, but I love the gun regardless.
You can probably say that about most.
Visually, that gun is really stupid looking, but it is based off of a real gun. It's an amalgamation of parts. It's got. I used to have an M417, or not an M417, an M110 in my mod, which I then replaced with the M417 model because the model was better. Like stat-wise, they're identical. But I scrapped the M110 and used the like the upper and the lower receiver, and I used the SVT stock with it to create that really weird gun. But it does exist. It's a real gun.
I just love that you don't have to go out and find a suppressor. Because like back in the day, I always used to run a gun with a suppressor, and you'd end up having to repair it or carry a couple of spares. So for me, having one that's integrally suppressed is quite good. But then you add on the fact that it happens to be that gun firing 9x39, which is the same as the VSS, as I'm sure most of us know. It just packs quite a decent little punch, and it's I agree with Boydie. I think it's a fantastic weapon.
It is a underrated 9x39 is an underrated caliber. I think it's a very interesting caliber.
And I just like
it
because it suits my play style, because I like to be quiet as much as possible, because I suck at PvP, so the less people can hear me. And if you get the armor piercing rounds, that thing just shreds infected as well. 1 or 2 rounds, most infected will drop, and hardly anyone hears it. It's almost like firing the amphibia. Some of the suppressors are quite buggy, but that gun, plus it's internally suppressed, so you don't have to worry about the suppressor wearing out.
Yeah, if you like integrally suppressed guns, you might like to know that I've actually got one coming in my next update.
Nice.
Another integrally suppressed gun. I could send you a screenshot if you're curious. It's a interesting thing.
Yeah, send us a screenshot. We'll show everyone. Sneak peek reveal here. I'll post it in the guest chat. Now, while you do that, let's actually read your bio that you sent us. So, hello everyone, I'm Mass. I'm 23 years old and live in the USA. I'm an intermediate modeler, texturer, and a very novice scripter. I started playing DayZ during the original mods population boom back in 2013, meaning I've essentially grown up playing DayZ. Now, I'm well known in the community as a modder who has developed the mod Masses Many Item Overhaul. I've helped with many projects like Dumpgrass Smithing and Smelting mod. I took over Winter Chernarus and helped create many updates for it, as well as keeping it updated and functional with DayZ's many updates. and many more projects. I'm also a developer for the server New Dawn DayZ and have been part of that family since before I started modding for DayZ in the first place. I laughed when I read this. I am an unemployed neckbeard who survives off of making commissions for the DayZ and VR chat communities. As for current DayZ project right now, I am only have keeping my mod updated on my agenda aside from commissioned work that it's requested of me. Of course, this may change as I'm very in the moment kind of person who makes updates based on what I think is cool and fits in with the game. I would also like to thank my many contributors and teachers for where I am now: Nephoria, Dumpgra, Cletus, Lad, Helkiana, Thurston, Not a Banana, and Modern. I do not have any social medias other than my Twitch and YouTube that I occasionally post mod updates or the occasional Let's Play series. I rarely stream mod development on Twitch. And there's links to his Twitch channel, which I'll post in there. So why don't you stream much on Twitch, mate?
Mainly my internet sucks.
That sucks.
But, you know, I used to stream all the time before I moved into this. I live in like a really small town in the USA, and it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
And the internet's really bad here. And to get better internet, it's extremely expensive. It's a bit over my budget, unfortunately. If I had better internet, I probably would stream more.
Well, we need to get you more commission jobs, mate, so you can be like Helkiana. I do actually have to divert a little bit here. I saw something really sad. Helkiana deleted all of her VODs because she streams a lot of her stuff as well. And it was actually, it says a lot about Helkiana as a person. Like, you shouted her out, but she apologized to everyone who'd been watching her VODs to learn about modding herself, and said she's going to try and get some videos up. I honestly think you should do the same, mate. I think there's more people out there who want to know, and like myself, with running my server now. If it wasn't for Rudy, who's in chat as well, I would be in so over my head. Like, Dumpgra helps out where he can. Spud has been really generous with his time as well and helped me with a few things. But Rudy's been doing the lion's share of the work. But it's so hard to find information on this sort of stuff. So I think there is a market, Brim, for modders to be how to do, like one of our previous guests, Matthew Longtime, to do videos showing boomers and just people who are interested where to begin, how to start.
Yeah, I think when you consider it's masses many items overhaul as well, there's a name behind that, there's a meaning behind that. There's a positive meaning behind that as well. So I think if you're an up and coming modder who wants to create mods for the DayZ community, has a little bit of know-how, you probably, if you've got even the slightest bit of sense, you look up to that mod and to Mass as a person as well, as a modder, and sort of go, right, well, that's something I want to be able to get to that level of. So like I say, I think there's a massive gap in the market. A good YouTube channel full of tips and tricks. This is how I modded in the stew. This is how I did this. This is how I did that. I think that would be extremely valuable to the community as a whole.
Yeah, start with the simple ones, which, from what I understand, is just retexturing items, and then work your way up to creating furniture, creating map mods, like you've done with the Winter Churnerus one, and stuff like that. I think that would be a real game changer for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, as you said, the first step is definitely retextures, I think, because that's how I started. Every time somebody asks me for help on modding, I always send them an old Septic Falcon video, which basically teaches them how to retexture things, because it's a very basic. Basically, you have to get ready to learn config work, because a lot of that early modding is just config work. And redoing retextures kind of opens you up to basic config work. As you guys are saying, for like doing streams or doing YouTube tutorials and stuff, I would be up for doing something like that, but I'm not a good person at talking. I've never been great at talking or explaining things. I just kind of, at the time, I would just show people what I did instead of, talking through it.
Yeah, Helkiano's
a
also
good
saying
tutorial
there,
person.
and I'd be interested in your opinion on this, that the only reason why she wouldn't really want to make proper tutorials is because I'm still learning every day. I always go back and redo stuff. So having a video out there kind of makes it set in stone, which I understand. But at the same time,
I agree with that.
At the same time, though, a lot of people need a starting point. And, you know, that's something you could just put in your videos, is that you're constantly going back and, you know, you'll learn new things from different people. An animation for items video would be great, but no worries if you're done. Yeah, like I know Matthew Longtime did a couple of videos, you know, how to create a melee item and stuff like that. I just think there's, you know, Scale Speed has said it there as well. Just do a YouTube search and you'll see the lack of tutorials from how to mod and how to install and update mods. And part of it as well, which might be a bit past you, and, you know, but from what I understand, DayZ is a bit unique because of infusion. Is that right, Mass?
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you how unique DayZ is to most engines, but what I can tell you is that the lighting engine is terrible, and that is definitely very unique.
Yeah.
Because I work with textures a lot, so I've seen it. It makes me want to tear my hair out.
I think there's a market for some basic guides, just simple, and, you know, just encourage people, you know, point them in the direction of where to go. Like I had one person just say to me, just Google it, you'll find it. And I tried Googling it, and it's so overwhelming.
It is.
Yeah. You know, even pointing out, luckily there were some really nice people with the server management side of it, who pointed me to some basic stuff on how to learn about JSONs and XML files. And, you know, I'm still getting my head around that. And now we've got this Survivor missions mod. I need to start learning about C and C++, which kind of scares the crap out of me. But at the same time, I said, well, if I did learn about JSON and XML, maybe I can learn about this other stuff, the basics of it, so I can customize the mod to suit my server. Do you get into that at all, Brim?
Nope, you might as well have just been speaking Japanese. I know the word JSON. I know that C++ or whatever or C+ or whatever it's called is a thing, and it's some sort of coding language. The length of my knowledge on PCs is I can turn it on, I can watch porn, and I can fall asleep. That's about the length of knowledge I've got. So how the fuck I've made it this far is far beyond me.
You know what, man? I kind of feel the same way. Exactly the same way.
That doesn't fill me full of confidence, mate, I'll be honest.
I don't know. I have a passion for DayZ, so I spend all my time on it. Or at least I used to. I still do, but it comes and goes. I think that's normal.
I think you just gained yourself a bunch of followers from my channel, Brim. Preach.
Well, you know, I speaks the truth. What can I say?
So what have you got in the pipeline? What have you got coming up, mate?
What do I have coming up? So I've got a integrally suppressed 22 that I've been working on for the past day or so. It's probably the worst gun in the entire game, but it holds 25 rounds in the chamber. So
that's right. You shared an image of that. Let me just bring that up.
I made that one in about a day, texture-wise and model.
Yep. There you go, folks. So you mentioned you do commission work. How do people get in contact with you to get the ball rolling with that?
Usually just send me a DM on Discord. You don't need to send me a friend request. My Discord has always been open. Even though I'm on Do Not Disturb, it is simply to block out the many notifications that I get. I always do read my Discord. Sometimes I kind of don't because I'm sleeping, and sometimes I may be sleeping in the middle of the day. You never know with me. So, you know, it just, you know, just message me and I'll usually reply unless you're Russian and trying to repack my mod, then I might kind of tell you, no, thank you.
But probably not use those such nice words as no thank you.
No. I just say no thank you.
Well, aren't you Mr. Polite?
It's always our guests bringing us up, isn't it? All our guests are polite and lovely about things, and we're the arseholes sat here bringing our guests
Ray.
down to our level.
Well, except for Ray. Yeah.
I'm
sorry, you were going to say?
No. Well, I was going to say I'm not the nicest person in the world, obviously. But I don't think I'm a jerk either. After a certain point of dealing with so many people, you kind of stop being nice sometimes. Like, I get absolutely hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages over the course of... It's probably been thousands of messages over the course of the time I've had my mod. And it's just, it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. Especially whenever the damn game updates and something's broken and I'm just like, dude, I know.
I can imagine that's got to be an absolute nightmare for you. Like, well, as soon as any sort of update to DayZ hits, I can imagine you, along with every other modder, absolutely gets destroyed with DMs. Like, update your mod. This is broken. This doesn't work. There's been an update. That's why I've got ultimate amount of respect for people like you that do the modding that you do, because I would lose my shit immediately with the first message.
Yeah. So that's actually my biggest problem with modding. Whenever something goes wrong, or when, like, every time I have to push an update, I have anxiety, so it stresses me out so bad. Like, it is insane the amount of stress that I feel every single time I add something new to the game, or if I have to update the game, because I'm worried that I'm gonna break the entire, like, every server. I'm gonna kill DayZ single-handedly. It drives me absolutely insane.
Especially with when an update comes as well. It just seems to be such a stressful time for people like yourself and even server owners, and it's just an absolute nightmare. I'm not looking forward to 1.10 myself personally.
I'm both looking forward to it and not looking forward to it. My mod is ready for it, I think, but the problem with that is I don't know if it's going to play well with other mods, like after 1.10, right? Maybe I did something wrong, maybe I didn't, or maybe somebody else did something wrong. I don't know. But yeah, that's the problem. Every time the game changes, you don't know if what you did to accommodate those changes are right until, it's already done and tested in servers.
What's been the worst patch for you so far?
109.
Yeah?
No, 108 and 109, I think, were the worst. Because of the default bug that was with it. I think 109 fixed that, didn't it? Or was it 110 that did?
I think it was 109 that fixed it. 108 was, from what I remember, 108
definitely it was 108. Yeah, then it was 108. Because
someone in chat will probably
people kept telling me that my mod was broken. And my mod was working on a lot of servers, and then it wasn't on another, like, ton of servers, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know.
They're saying it's 1.10. They're saying it's 1.10 that's fixing it.
Okay. So it was 108 and 109. Basically, 108 and the combination of those last two updates are basically what led me to the point to where I am now, where I don't really want to mod much anymore. Because it's just, it's very stressful.
I can imagine quite a lot of guys.
And it's free work too.
Yeah, and I can imagine a lot of guys such as yourself that do a lot of modding that probably with bugs like that inventory bug and things like that, immediately everyone just assumes that it's an issue with a mod. So I can imagine that probably meant that you got quite a fair few messages just from people thinking it was the mod, not realizing that it wasn't a mod issue. It was an actual base game issue.
Yeah. Which sucks really bad, especially because I'm not a professional scripter or anything. If it wasn't for the many contributors that I have on my mod, like script-wise, my mod would be so much more boring. I mean, I'm not like, oh man, like I don't know if you guys know, like my mod has custom, they're not really custom animations, but they're like custom animation states where some of my guns have animations that are from different guns comprised together in like an amalgamation, sort of. I don't know, a good example would be the MP153. If you noticed, the MP153 has a SKS bolt, but a pump action reload. So you load it from the bottom. That's actually the most complex gun on the entire workshop, I believe. And that is all script work from Kniforia, one of my best contributors.
Just seeing your chat there, Highlinge was saying, can I suggest that all modders update the description to indicate if the mod is confirmed working on 1.10? And the issue does come down to the availability of the modders, Highlinge. That they're doing this for the most part free from their own time. So it'd be great if they could, but at the same time, it's pretty unreasonable to expect them to just drop everything and race and update their mod the minute it drops. And I think that comes down to, I can't remember which patch it was, but there was one that really didn't play well with all the mods. And it caused an absolute nightmare for the server owners. And it's something that DayZ needs to address, is better collaboration with the modders, so that when a new patch goes to stable, the modders have had enough time to get themselves ready, because as much as they might not like it, but modding is such a massive part of DayZ now. And if the mods break, you see it in Discords all the time, don't you, Brim? People sitting there going, fucking DayZ's broken again, fucking DayZ's broken again.
Yeah.
And it's not DayZ. DayZ Vanilla is running quite stable. It's the mod issues.
Yeah, and I think Helkiana brought up a very good point in your chat there as well. Saying that obviously there's been times where she's had to excuse herself from work, so she has to come home, because DayZ's dropped an update on a Thursday at lunchtime. I think if the devs can actually push out updates consistently at the right time, so to speak, whatever time that may be, then I think that will help quite a lot with modding, being able to actually update things. Because I would hate if I was a modder to suddenly get a notification halfway through the day, midweek, saying, "Oh yeah, DayZ's dropped an update. You need to go ahead and update shit." And it's like, well, I've still got fucking 5 hours left at work and I can't leave.
Yeah. That's the one. That's also one of the worst parts, is that they're very, very random. They are insanely random when it comes to whenever they want to update. It everybody kind of expects an update on Wednesdays. That's kind of how that goes. But at the same time, that's only a 50-50 chance.
Yeah,
it seems to me.
It's
either on Wednesday or it's on some other random day.
Yeah. See, for me, I think personally that when the devs drop an update, it should be on a Friday. And I mean, I think it's kind of difficult for them as well, because obviously the entire world doesn't run off one time zone. There's hundreds of different time zones around the world in different countries. Yep. So you're never going to please everybody, but I think there should be a point where they say, right, a lot of the world at this point, a lot of the Western world who are the ones playing this game are currently, it's about to be a Friday afternoon. Maybe we should drop it, when everyone's sort of within a few hours of early evening. That way everyone's got the weekend to update and play everything, and, and sort of go from there.
Well, from a development perspective, I think Friday would not be a good day for that, just simply because what if there's something majorly wrong? They can't fix it until
if it's broken for the entire weekend, people will riot. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Monday.
I think Monday.
And Emu Export is
Wednesday,
saying in chat there, communication is the key. Not just communication, but I honestly think what you were talking about, Mass, they need to standardize it. Everyone needs to know that, pretty much like it used to be with the status report. It came out every Tuesday from memory. They need to drop a stable version. If it's not going to be this Monday, then we know it's not coming until next Monday. So that people can... prepare. Again, I'm not expecting them to drop everything, but for those who are passionate, like yourself, like Helkiana, and like some of the other modders out there, they know, okay, it's going to be next Monday, or the Monday after, then they can prepare as much as they possibly can. if they got an understanding employer and say, I might be late to work or whatever because, something's dropping. And yeah, just the more they can do to help the modders who are helping the game, the better it is for DayZ.
Yeah.
I think in 108 or 109 they did that actually. Well, sort of. They gave us like a 24-hour thing. They said, well, stable update's coming out tomorrow. I don't remember what update that was, but I know they did that, and it was very nice.
Now, I just have to quickly ask, EMU Export, are you Western Australian? Because that's a classic beer from Western Australia where I'm from. It tastes like goat piss. It is a fucking nasty drop, but yeah, it's a classic West Australian beer.
If it's alcohol and it fits in a glass, drink it.
So what Helkiana just said in the chat, there are ways we can prepare for an update now that were not necessarily known before. We can add our updated like scripts, and then have a define, which basically says if the game version is this, then it will use one set of scripts, and if the game version is this, it will use an entirely new set of scripts.
Yeah. And a big one there that was mentioned earlier on as well by Dazzy Boy. Code Lock is a prime example. It takes a couple of weeks for its modder to get on top of a DayZ update, and it's such a largely used mod. So there's only so much they can do. At the end of the day, people have got to be patient. We love our PC and mods and all the rest of it, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It can work against us when, particularly if it's a complex update has dropped and has changed a lot of the core stuff, then people need to be just chill, give the server owners some time. They might have to remove mods. It's going to fuck things up a bit, but until things get steadied and, yeah, just calm your farm and chill. The modders will get on top of it as soon as they possibly can. Like, I remember, you might know, Mass, there was some modder, we've talked about it a few times, I think, Brim, some modder who went on holidays and an update
Jones.
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
People lost their fucking shit over it.
And also, quick shout out to Dr. Jones as well, because I recently noticed that his trader mod has had an update, and it does say on the workshop page that the update was to prepare it for 110. So he's still supporting that mod, and I think absolutely he should be, because it's such a widely used. I think it's got to be one of the most, if not the most, subscribed mod for DayZ. It's got to be up there, top 3, I would imagine, because it's such a powerhouse of a mod.
I'm just looking at the comments on your Masses mod. Sadly, there wasn't anything in there, but I'm so used to people in there just with comments like fix your mod. Just the entitlement of some people. Just yeah.
Some people need to sit down and have a quiet word with themselves in a corner with a shotgun.
On New Dawn, we have a meme image of like a bunch of zombies, and above the zombies are captions to imply that the zombies are commenting on mod pages, and it's fix your mod, broken PBO, game not working.
Yeah,
and it's pretty funny.
Well, we'll move on to
look for it, but I bet you it's buried.
We're going to move on to the other topics that we've got tonight. The first one I want to do is a big thank you to, I did a bit of it before the podcast, but I want to do it again now that the podcast is live. Big thank you to everyone who supported us, whether it be on Patreon, whether it be through subs on the channel, just watching the video, sharing it. But recently we were able to do something really nice. Brim, have you got your mug yet?
Arrived only a few hours ago, in fact, would you believe?
Show it up there for everyone.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
Looks
even
nice.
better. Let me.
I need one of those.
Turn one of my lights off so it's not as bad.
And flip it around.
You've got the DayZ podcast on one side, and then because I'm pushed to talk with my mouse, it's got my my logo backwards as fuck on the other side. It only looks backwards because it's on camera, but yeah, I mean, it's a lovely mug as well. It's been a while since I've had a proper like white glossy mug. Obviously, I bought myself one of my own magic mugs when I got my merch store up and running. But yeah, it's nice to have a nice new one. The logo looks so good. Is it Asmondian that did that, wasn't it?
No, Asmondian made the DayZ podcast logo for us.
Yeah.
But not only was I able to get some for my co-hosts, I ordered myself one, but I fucked up and just got a plain DayZ podcast. I didn't put my logo on it because I'm an idiot.
You plonker.
But we were also able to do them for the dev team, including Yakub, who some of you may remember, and Asmondian, where he was able to make custom logos for people. So they've all been sent. I was hoping they would have arrived today, but they haven't, sadly. I'll show you Sumrack's one.
That's by far my favourite bit of those mugs, is the fact that Asmondian has managed to go in and create like a custom logo for each different individual
where he could,
their specific mug where he could. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
We also sent them to Brian Hicks and Dean Hall as well. So they should all get
those
them.
Those guys are my heroes.
Yeah. I know Foxy received his. Valis Mike, I saw him on Twitter as well. He just posted his. His logo looks fucking awesome on the mug, Brim. Look at that.
Oh, that looks awesome. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was something that, it wouldn't have been possible without the support of all of you who jump in here and watch the show each week. And and if you do want one done yourself and you want to order it from the website, just send me your logo. I'll put it up there so you can buy yourself one as well with your own logo on the other side of it as well. Happy to do that for anyone who wants to order one that way as well. Sadly, as much as I'd love to, if I win Gold Lotto, maybe I'll be able to do it for everyone who wants one. But yeah, I'm only got so much money I could throw around, or the missus will cut my balls off. But yeah, so that's something that thanks to all of you, we were able to get done on behalf of the podcast and the podcast audience. And also, once again, a big shout out to Asmondian for not only making the DayZ podcast logo, but also, and it wouldn't accept a cent from me either, but for creating the actual mug logos for the dev team and all the rest of them as well. He's just such a nice guy. Such a nice guy, Mass.
He is brilliant, isn't he?
Now, the next topic was DayZ is now on consoles, the new generation consoles. And I saw, I like Foxy's image there, DayZ be like superimposing the new generation consoles and that. But people are saying it's really, really performing so much better than it did on the old gen consoles, Matt.
That's cool. I mean, I started off in the console. I started off playing games on a console, like many people, I believe. Good old fashioned Battlefield Bad Company 2 / Modern Warfare 2.
Yep.
And then eventually I got a laptop for my birthday, like around 2012 or something, and eventually I started playing DayZ mod on that same laptop, and I had like a constant 20 FPS, and it was amazing. Actually, it was constant 1520. It was horrible.
Yep.
But anyway,
Rhino's saying in chat it looks so good on new consoles. Seeing someone driving through Cherno and it was so pretty. It's just Blur saying there, who cares, Brim? But mate, so many people have come across to PC from console, haven't they, Brim?
Yeah. It seems we do get it somewhat frequently, don't we, as well, where someone will pop into the chat during an episode of the podcast and say, "Oh, I've literally just started playing on PC. Was a fan of DayZ for years, watching it on Twitch and YouTube, and playing it on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever else, and now I've decided to come over to PC. I'm loving the mods and blah blah blah." We get it. Not as often as I'd like, but it's brilliant. I mean, I haven't played console at all in over a year now, and I kind of want to go back to it, but at the same time, I'm not going to go spending the whatever it is, 500 odd quid on a brand new console when I've got a fucking perfectly good PC here that's, you know, going to do so much more.
Yeah, that's my argument as well, actually. I just don't see the point.
Look, there are some console exclusive titles that definitely, you know, I'm a PC gamer now. I've got an Xbox, the previous series, and it sits there more as a paperweight. I was using it to make the TV a smart TV, but I've got a smart TV now, so I can't remember the last time I turned it on. But The Last of Us 2, doesn't really interest me that much. But The Last of Us, fuck me, that was a good game. And that's a console exclusive title. It was.
You can emulate that now.
You can emulate it? Well, there you go. But when you couldn't, oh my fucking God, it was an amazing game. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I got a dumb TV, love it. But no, look, consoles, you know, not everyone can afford to buy a gaming PC as well.
Yeah.
And consoles, especially for parents, you know, it makes it easy. You know that they're like, how long did the last series of consoles last for, Brim? 5-10 years? How long were they?
Give or take. Yeah, well, that's the thing is they always bring out different versions, don't they? So with the Xbox, you'd have the Xbox One, then you get the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. And then you get the like back in the day you had like the 360, the 360 arcade, the 360 elite.
Yeah,
so they'd have so many different versions, but they'd all pretty much do the same thing. They weren't a massive difference from one to the other. So I think it's more of a marketing thing. It's just they want to get as much money out of it as possible, and they always sneakily, you notice, they bring them out around about Christmas time, just so that all the kids are like, "Mummy, I want the new Xbox."
Yeah.
And yes. Well, it's fucking Christmas. Gonna have to fucking get it now, ain't I?
But I would rather. Blur's asking me what would I rather play DayZ on. Of course, I'm going to say PC. But I still think it's great that, you know, from what I can understand, there's no other game like DayZ on console, and it's creating its whole new audience of, you know, so many people. Like Riku in chat here, he's a console player as well, yet he's here watching the DayZ podcast. It's the whole PC master race. It's a bit of a joke in that, but at the same time, I've got a lot of Scale Speed has got it there as well. You can play chilled out, relaxing on the couch with a controller. Sorry. No, go for it, mate.
Go for it. My bad. So I was wanting to say, I could probably build a computer for around the same price, if not cheaper, than a new gen console that'll run DayZ fine. But of course, it would probably only just run DayZ and games around that generation.
Yeah.
Bear Bomb was saying. Sorry, go on.
But exclusives.
Bear Bomb was saying, I have been on console since I was a kid. I'm still on PS4, but this time I'm coming to PC. And yeah, it's a gateway to PC for those who want to. Otherwise, you know, for a casual gamer, someone who's not, you know, most PC gamers are a bit more hardcore of a gamer as well. That said, there are some hardcore console players as well, but it's just so much easier. Plug and play. Set the thing up, and barring if you're blowing vape into the bottom of your Xbox to make it look like it's on fire, I just laugh at that. That was fucking hilarious. The fact that they had to tweet out, "We can't believe that we have to say this, but please don't blow vape clouds into the bottom of your Xbox." Yeah.
I think
that was funny.
I think consoles are to gaming what marijuana is to drugs, or what old people think marijuana is to drugs. I think it's a gateway, and you're gonna go on to something so much worse.
I mean, in a way, it's kind of true.
Yeah, I mean, I always had I only got a PC January of last year. Yeah, January 2019 was when I first got my first ever proper gaming PC. Like, we used to have a family PC that we'd all use that had like Windows 98 and the original version of Paint on it and things like that. You know what I mean? The old crappy stuff when I was a kid. But like, I've been console for years. First console, Nintendo GameCube, and then just sort of stepped up from there. And I will say, I do miss sitting on the sofa with my Xbox controller and just playing Call of Duty for 12 God knows how many hours a day. I do miss it. I do a little bit. But
so I've got some fond memories of doing the same. Call of Duty Black Ops and with the mates and the headset on and just chatting away. And it was fun.
The old Modern Warfare 2 lobbies and, the Xbox party chats that were, we can't repeat nowadays what sort of things were said back then because, we'd all lose our livelihoods and probably go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that with PC though.
Yeah.
You can, you can totally still do that.
Look up a controller.
Plug in a controller and
Yeah.
And if you want to be in your living room, you can just, stream it.
I was doing it somewhat like that for a while because I was still back along playing GTA 5, and I've only ever played GTA 5 with a controller. And to anyone out there who can play GTA 5 mouse and keyboard, I fucking salute you because damn that, I need my Xbox controller for that, and even then, I'm probably not going to do very well. So, I've even gone to the extent of putting my controller in the same box as my Xbox in the bottom of my wardrobe, buried. One day I'll probably get it back out, but for now, that ain't happening.
I look forward to seeing the new DayZ players that come over from console. Though, I look forward to that. I welcome them with open arms.
Yeah, what was that? Wasn't there a streamer? Was it Dude I Rage or someone along his lines who bumped into a new player in game that had come over from like a free weekend or something? And I think we mentioned it on the podcast when we had Dude on, and it was instead of obviously just KOSing the guy or being like, "Oh, you're new, here's a can of beans, now fuck off." He literally took him under his wing and was like, "Right, I'm going to show you how this game is actually played. Let's have a fucking adventure." And the guy was like, "I had the best time of my life. Like nothing can ever beat that."
Yeah. Well, hold that thought because we've got a topic coming up similar to that later. About DayZ experiences.
And I think that's what is unique about DayZ as well, isn't it? That you're not going to get that with GTA. You're not going to get that with Call of Duty. So it is completely DayZ related. I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
There is a funny Dude I Rage is actually a friend of mine that I've known since before either of us made YouTube videos. So I found that kind of funny that you're mentioning him. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I no matter how hard one can possibly imagine trying, I couldn't imagine anyone being able to find a bad thing to say about the guy.
Dazzy in chat then says JR sucks. Now, Brim, you shared the experimental update. Infected animals had an active collision with the player for a few seconds after their deaths. Wooden log, wooden plank, and metal plate could not be attached to the... I hate these new names. I hate these new names to V3S.
Well, make sure you check as well, because there was I noticed that I had shared the first iteration of the update for experimental, and I think that's what you then would have put on the agenda earlier in the week. But there was another update a day or two ago, so I did put in the team podcast agenda suggestions in the Discord, the newer one. So I'm not sure which one you've got up.
But I'm sure most people are aware of a lot of the updates. It's just I'm just really impressed with the quantity of updates they put out this year. All things aside, there's so many businesses at the moment that are, because of COVID we can't meet quotas, and because of COVID we can't do this, because of COVID we can't do that. But I've been really impressed that the DayZ dev team have just rolled their sleeves up and just smashed it out of the park this year, the amount of updates they've done. And they've been good quality updates as well, fairly substantial. Not piecemeal token ones, just good stuff. Hey, Mass.
I agree. These updates were very back to the original soul of what DayZ was supposed to be in the beginning, I feel.
Yeah.
And that's why I love them. I'm actually really excited to play 1.10, and I'm excited to play. Well, I'm excited to play Namalsk on 1.10, especially actually.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard for me, finding time to fit Namalsk in.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna have that issue now, aren't we? But I agree. Like the last few updates for DayZ has really, really surprised me. Like I said, we had the changes with the base building. and we've had like the being able to vault over things finally, and then they've added obviously with 110. I'm skeptical on 110. I'm looking forward to it just as much as we all are, but I'm foreseeing at the moment a shitstorm with casual players, because whilst I think this is a phenomenal update and they are changing the three things that they're changing, the clothing, the food, and the broken legs, I think the things they're changing there are absolutely brilliant and are 100% necessary for DayZ and for Namalsk as well. But I think from a casual player standpoint, I think so many people are really going to get tripped up by that, because I still notice it myself when I jump on a new server. If I find an animal like a cow or like there's like I suppose you would call them a herd of goats or whatever, I run over, I kill them all, I get all the meat and all the fat that I can, cook it off, and it's just in my backpack ready, raring to go. But you're not going to be able to do that quite as much when 110 comes out. And I think that's going to trip up a lot of casual players. And I can see we're going to get a bit of a wave of shitstorm from casual players that are going to be, going onto the Twitter and expressing their annoyance with the fact that they've just died due to a broken leg or their meat rotted too early, even though actually it didn't. They just weren't keeping an eye on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think putting all of those things together at once in one update might be a little bit here or there. But I think if it was me personally, I would have done it as 2 or 3 separate updates. I would have done, 1 in 110 and then 2 in 111 or something like that. But it's gonna be very interesting to see what the fallout from that is.
Definitely. Plus, modders can always, fix that.
Yeah.
Like if your server is like a more softcore casual server, you could probably find a way. I'm sure somebody's going to make a mod to disable that stuff. I'm positive.
Yeah, there are far too many very intelligent and very talented modders in the community to not have something like that come out.
But Brim did touch on it. It's going to be interesting to see how the console market accept the new changes. Bear Bomber's saying it'll be welcome, but
that is true.
Yeah.
I know we take the piss out of console a little bit here or there, but it's console are fucked. Console are really going to struggle, I think, with this new update.
Helkiana saying they added options to disable temperature and food decay. So is that for console as well, Helkiana? Are they going to be able to do that?
I know that Wobo did a video about the food, which was actually really good, about the decay timers and stuff. And he actually showed that at the time of him doing the video, he showed each different sort of food item. So whether you're talking about your meats, your veggies, your canned food, your drinks. And he was saying in the video that, these items will do, if you cook it, it will last this much longer, blah, blah, blah. And he actually mentioned that he found all the information from the actual code of the game itself. He found that there was a setting in there that just hadn't been switched on yet, essentially, to have it so that even the canned food can be perishable.
Yeah.
So we might see eventually moldy cans of tactical bacon.
I think it'd be more once you open it, if you don't eat it.
Yeah.
I think that's when you'll be in danger of
Yeah. I don't think it will be a sealed can, because that wouldn't make much, if any, sense. But I think, like you say, once you open a can, that starts the timer, and then you've got X amount of hours, IRL hours, before that goes moldy and you can't eat it anymore. And I think that'll be I think in the long term, that is a really good thing, but I think we should wait at least half a year or so for that. Because like I said, I think so many people are gonna be a complete nightmare.
Helkiana saying it's already in. It's when you open the can, it can become poisoned.
Oh, right. Oh, so it's already a feature then.
Yep.
Oh, right. Oh, shit. Okay.
That's really cool. Actually.
But then again, at the same time, I don't know what it's like for anyone else. Feel free to chime in and give your opinions. But if I've got a can of food on me, very, very rarely will I open it and then put an open can of food in my bag. Maybe it's because in real life I'm a fat bastard. But in game it translates, imitates life. As soon as it's open, it's down the fucking hatch and I'm out. Unless I'm ill and I have to eat little by little to make sure I don't throw up. Otherwise it's straight up, cans open, woof, I'm down, I'm fat and full, I'm going for a sleep.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
What else have we got? I've got it on my phone so I can see it. The Ike D. Tolga charity run. How fucking good was what Ike did on Twitter with his charity run?
Yeah.
He's just an absolute boss. Ike D. Bringing him up. So the winners were Black Bug, won $500 to his charity of choice. Eclipse, $250 to his charity of choice. DOJ, a regular in chat here, $100 to his charity of choice. The Hellfire Show, your buddy there, Brim, $50.
Oh, yes.
But my favourite was It's Coops. I can't show it because of copyrighted music, but It's Cooper basically did a whole production on YouTube of his run with music, and it was just absolutely amazing. I mentioned Uncooper quite a bit, but I'll get his YouTube channel up. Please go and give him a shout or a check out. You won't regret it. There's the video there, the Tolga Charity Hill Climb. It's just phenomenal. Just such a really good effort, cinematic, and just he does Ben Fruit's videos for him. He's a very skilled editor. So for something like this, it was just such a good effort to see people having a go at it, and it wasn't just Uncooper as well. I believe the Running Man had a go at it. D Hop had a go at it. There were some other streamers who did have a go at it, and it was great to see the Twitch community, or the DayZ, not just Twitch, but the DayZ community getting united around something that was, he's not a streamer, or he does stream, Ike, but he's not, a guy who's trying to make money and gets you to come and follow him just so he can earn more money and all the rest of it. He's doing it out of the goodness of his heart, and that has to be both respected and shouted out.
Yeah,
what a great guy!
Absolutely. Yeah, he's and aren't I right in saying he was also the same guy that we spoke about a couple of months back, where on Twitter there was a gentleman whose niece found out she was that she had cancer, I think, wasn't it? And
it's the same guy.
Basically bought this guy a Nintendo Switch to give to his niece, so that while she's in hospital dealing with that absolute horrific shitstorm, that she she keep her morale up a bit. So
he's a good man.
All the respect and all the love in the world to Ike. Absolutely, 100%.
True philanthropist.
Yeah.
Now, for the next topic, we're actually going to play a video, and it's one that I can actually show. And it's from, I don't know whether he's still in chat. I thought I had this up.
Professional, ladies and gentlemen. Boyd is a professional.
But our mate Lex Hawthorne put a video up.
There you go. And my name's Lex here, guys. Welcome on in. DayZ community, guys. Got a topic, I guess. I watch a lot of DayZ streams, and I'm addicted to them. One thing I've noticed, though, lately, unfortunately, is when streamers meet other streamers, sometimes viewers can get a little bit... some of their comments can be rather... negative, I guess. Well, fuck that streamer. I don't like that streamer that you're running with, or this guy's not my cup of tea, or anyway, I don't like him, and then so there's just a few issues there, and it happens in my chat room quite a lot as well. And basically, for all the viewers out there, number one, you got to understand this makes your favorite streamer that you're watching. It makes him very uncomfortable if you're saying these things in his chat room, if that makes sense. You're putting him on the spot, making it hard for him. Number two, it creates a negative vibe in the chat room as well, which is also a bit of a shitty thing to do as well. Look, we're all streamers, we're all entertainers. We're trying to entertain you guys at the best of our abilities, and we've all got different personalities. We've all got different game styles. I think if we all had the same, it'd be fucking boring out there. I think that's one of the best things about the DayZ community. All our streamers are different personalities, different play styles. So before you write that nasty message and you're watching your favorite streamer and you bump into it and that streamer bumps into another streamer, hey, hang on, maybe just take a step back and say, look, I'm not going to write this message, this nasty message. Look, let's just play this out, if you got, like they always say, if you got nothing to say good, don't say it at all, It just puts your favourite streamer very uncomfortable position. So, like I said, we've all got one goal as streamers, and that's to entertain you guys. So, keep it positive, guys. Keep it positive. Much love to the DayZ community. You're fucking awesome. Take it easy. Lax Hawthorne.
I think that was a very good message from Lax.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think he brought up a point that I think we've spoken about on the podcast before. And I think it's kind of it's a bit of a weird one. It's a 50-50 because you'll get some people that will take some sort of offense, if you like, to it in a way as well, because I think what he's kind of saying is basically don't be a dick. And I think there are just some people that just don't have that ability to not be a dick in them. But I think it's one of those things where I 100% agree with him. At the end of the day, what are you gaining? What is the point in going into someone's chat and saying, oh, you're playing with such and such today? Oh, I don't really like him. He put out this YouTube video a couple of years back that I didn't really enjoy. Like that is the absolute textbook definition of completely fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't help anyone. That hasn't put anything into the world that is going to help anyone or anything. So I think it does kind of go back to what our parents always teach us as kids. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And I think we're quite lucky. I think we kind of take the piss a little bit every week. So we're all kind of joke that the DayZ community is a bit of a toxic wasteland at times, and we kind of make a bit of a meme and a joke about it, and we're not really serious, but I think we are quite lucky in that we are such a close-knit community. You're not going to get this sort of community in a big AAA title necessarily. So I think, we do have that ability to support each other and to bring each other up rather than breaking each other down and making things worse. So I 100% agree with Lax. I think just think before you think. It's literally a case of think before you speak, something I probably fail to do quite frequently, but think before you type that little message in someone's chat and just think, if someone typed this in, to me, if someone said this to me, how would I feel? Am I going to be happy about that? And if the answer's no, don't fucking type it. Just leave it be. Lurk, chill out for a bit.
Because, Matt, it's something I've had to work on a bit myself. I've fallen guilty to petulant behavior in the past myself. And it's sort of something we've been trying to do with the podcast is to try to focus more as much as possible on positive things as opposed to fucking high school bloody behavior. We like Brims said, in the past, we've joked a bit here and there, poked fun at people and all the rest of it, but it's something we're trying to move away from.
I feel the entire community kind of has that feeling and has for a long time, which goes on to another subject that we'll be dropping into, I think, at some point in this stream, another video. But everybody needs to work on that, not just in this community, but in the gaming community, like in general. There's like everybody seems to be always at each other's throats because they like something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they don't like something for, God knows why.
But I just love Lax for coming out and saying that. It's one of the things I love about the guy. He's not afraid to say things, that might be a bit controversial, but he's also in such a simplistic way that everyone can relate to. He got across something that from other people might have sounded a bit presumptuous or a bit arrogant. But when it comes from Lax, fuck no. Lax is one of the most down-to-earth people out there.
Yeah, and I think it helps as well because, like you say, because of the type of person he is. Like if I had done that video, if Lax had never done that, and I had done a version of that myself, with my 250 odd followers and my smaller community, people would be like, "Oh yeah, no, you bring up a good point. Happy days." And I might get a little bit of traction on that, and people might actually think twice, maybe. But the fact that it's Lax, because of his much bigger community, he's using his community in a positive way. So he's done something positive. He's put it out there. More people have seen it. So it's had a bigger impact. And I think that's only a positive thing.
Definitely. Definitely is. Now, we've got a nice little positive story that I found here on Reddit. Now, I know in the podcast Discord, everyone was complaining about, I've added a Reddit channel where everything pops up from that's posted on Reddit DayZ. But I kind of did it for...
But we've all muted.
Yeah, but I kind of did it because the podcast channel is becoming a bit of a one-stop shop for us to find leads for stories. We've got the Twitter feeds and stuff like that. And I added Reddit, and I'm glad I fucking did, because I don't go to Reddit too often. And it can be a bit, everything gets ranked and all the rest of it. It's hard to find new posts and all the rest of it. But this new Reddit channel in the podcast Discord has everything. And then I had this story pop up, and I'll read it out to everyone. It's from Dozer. He said he was going to try and make chat if he could tonight, but I don't think he's managed to make it. But story time. So I run a modded server with a buddy of mine with some RP elements for some fun and immersion. Being a dungeon master running D&D campaigns and making missions on an Arma 3 group I'm part of, you can assume that I love telling stories in-game. So I was in-game, checking out loot spawns, etc., when I noticed what it seemed to be a new player to the game. I saw him dying a couple of times, but he didn't give up, so I decided to help a bit and have some RP fun in the process. I geared up as a NATO soldier and pretended to be wounded and that my unit left me for dead. When I got to him, I was almost out from hunger and asked him for food. He immediately got his food out and gave it without questioning it. We RP'd for a bit, but after a while I stopped because he seemed to be uncomfortable with it. Turns out the man was a 56-year-old guy stuck at home due to the pandemic. And even though he was not a gamer, he bought DayZ after watching some YouTube videos, and he loved the interaction players had with each other. We spent a couple of hours sharing stories from our army days while I was teaching him how to cook food and build shelters and a base. While sitting in the fire waiting the night and cooking some venison we hunted, he told me about his family and his work, of how he can't see his children because he is stuck at home due to the pandemic, separated with his wife, and now he must drive for an hour to get to work, amongst other things. After about 3 hours, we separated because I had to go to work. I gave him my rifle and some supplies and said goodbye. This has got to be the most wholesome experience I've had in this game of yet. I love this community. Mate, if you're reading this right now, shoot me a PM so we can connect, and there is a present waiting for you when you log back in. Thanks for the awesome night. I just think that was the best story. The best fucking story. And it just shows, like you said earlier, I think it was you, Brim, that DayZ, unlike nearly any other game out there, enables you to have some of the most, I don't think immersive is the right word, but some of the most raw connections with people that you just don't get. We talked before about, you were saying about what the lobbies used to be like on Call of Duty back in the day on consoles. DayZ's different.
Absolute cesspits, weren't they? And like you say, DayZ's different. And I think the thing that jumps to my mind when you look into it is there's two sort of groups of people that I can think of. I think of Fubar Bundy with the Stephen and the Alan, because you've got to remember,
just poked his head into chat.
Ironically enough, because if I remember rightly, Fubar was saying when we had him on back along, he was saying that they didn't know each other. They didn't know each other at all. They met in game. They made friends, and since then they've met in real life. They're actual friends. They know each other, and they send Christmas cards. They're actual legitimate IRL friends.
They are.
And the same goes for was it Blueberry and his guys
and Gavin White.
Yeah, they all met in game, pure happenstance, met somewhere on the map, ended up making friends, and now they've been to conventions together and hung out together and slept at each other's houses and eaten at each other's tables. And
I think Alan and Bundy have done more than that, but that's between them two.
Well, yeah, we're still waiting on the OnlyFans link from them too, but we can only hope. But yeah, it's like I say, you're not going to get that. You might get that in somewhere else. You might get that in Call of Duty. You might get that in Fallout. You might get that in Grand Theft Auto. But I think the likelihood of that is so much slimmer in a game like that. I think we have such a small, tight-knit, incredible community in DayZ that the fact that type of thing is possible, it just blows my mind every day.
Yep. Have you had anything like that, Mass?
Yes, actually. I've had a lot of interactions like that, both from the original DayZ mod and from the standalone. I think DayZ I agree with everything you've said essentially. That DayZ is a very special game in that it allows people to interact with each other. I don't even know how exactly it happened. It just kind of is that game, the only game like it, where you can interact with people without, getting shot, which, well, you definitely do get shot, but
yeah,
I think you get what I'm trying to say. I don't know why it's like that, other than the fact that the community is just, like, for the most part, way more mature than other gaming communities like DayZ, like other survival games.
Mm-hmm. There are people who just want to kill.
All sorts of, yeah. I think that's okay, but
you know, it makes it when you do interact with someone all the more special because you know that they could have just killed you, as opposed to
I've never been that guy.
No, I think Wobo is a very good example of that as well. When he originally had to leave because of I think it was his mother's poor health, wasn't it?
Yes.
The community rallied round and raised a shit ton of money, to try and keep things ticking, make things less difficult for him. I've got Mr. Blunden in my chat, who a lot of you will know as he did Ariana's logo. He's done all my logos and YouTube intros and stuff. Very talented bloke, and he's saying he's got a part of a community called the Night Crew. And it's named because there was a guy, they played mostly British guys playing with American guys. And because of the time difference, the Americans were always on nighttime, and they had a guy, Mr. Glock, who unfortunately passed away. And the tiny community raised the money to cover his funeral cost in 3 days to help his wife and family.
Wow.
So it's, again, you're not, I don't think you'll get that in Call of Duty. You might get that if you have a core group of friends that you make, but the likelihood is slim, I reckon, in a game like that. In a big game like that, everyone's just like run and gun. Maybe it's the genre, I don't know. But stories like that, you will mostly see in a very small community like DayZ. We know we're sort of, our backs are against the walls constantly, and we all should be there linking arms, helping each other to to sort of to go forward in life rather than shitting on people.
Look at my community, mate. With Moonshine's fundraiser, we got our boy Moonshine a laptop, and I was astounded. I honestly thought I was going to be putting in the lion's share of the money myself, and I didn't have to put in much at all. So many people just who barely even knew Moonshine chipped in hundreds of dollars of their own money to buy Moonshine a top of the line gaming laptop, so he could actually play DayZ with Mass. I don't know how much you know about the story, but Moonshine used to play on a 10-year-old laptop using the touchpad on a mouse.
He told me.
Yeah, insane. And
basically now, me and my first laptop.
Yep. No, we get a lot of flack, deservedly at times. We can be toxic, but overall, the core of the community is fucking great. Is absolutely amazing. And you've only got to look at the love that some of the streamers have in their communities with their people and the things they do, their charity fundraisers and all the rest of it. There's, as much as there are some things that need to be, worked on, there's more positive, and you've only just got to look for it. Just got to look for it. It's out there. What else have we got? Soviet Womble's video essays. Oh,
wow. I'll admit, I watched the first one. I haven't watched the others yet.
Apparently, there's 10 of them.
Very interesting.
Apparently,
they're
there's
very,
10 of them.
Very good. 10?
Yeah. There's
no way.
Yeah, Jacob Mango is a patron of his. So he alluded to it at the beginning of the first one that he was he's been doing this for quite some time. And apparently it's been over a year he's been working on these videos, which does explain some of the, I think he's missed some points, which we'll get into. But for those who haven't seen them, I'll bring up his YouTube channel. Go back here, YouTube.
It was definitely that first video, like I say, it's the only one I've watched so far. It was very interesting to some of it's always going to be stuff that I didn't already know and hadn't already learned. So anytime you get an opportunity to learn something new about something you're so heavily involved in is always brilliant.
But he did do a really good job. And the thing, that's episode 1 I've just linked to there, folks, when early access is too early. But he raised some really, really good points in there. And the thing I'm loving is look at the views. Number 5 on trending is video essay number 1.
5 now.
Yeah.
It was 20 whenever I watched it, and I was amazed that it was at 20.
Yeah. So, sadly, it's not exactly a positive video about DayZ, but it still shows there's a lot of people out there who are interested. And I'm very curious to see where he goes with the future episodes of this whole saga that he's talking about, because he does raise some really good points in there, but I think he's missed some points. And probably the number 1 was in one of the videos he talks about, it was quite funny the way he did it. Soviet Womble, like Alan saying, yeah, his videos are always quality. He's got his own unique style of animation and all the rest of it. But there's one part there where he basically gives you a hypothetical question of you have to pick one finch to represent the Galapagos Islands, and it turns out it's not about finches in the Galapagos Islands. It's about one version of DayZ. And he acts like it was a surprise they picked DayZ Classic out of all the different types of DayZ that were there under the mod. But no offense against him, but anyone with half a brain would have known that was the version they were going to go with, because that's what all those mods were created of. All the mods were created from Dean Hall's DayZ Vanilla mod that he made. And it makes sense that they would follow the same process again, rather than just saying, well, that's the most popular. Start with the vanilla again and let the modders do their thing once it's ready. Now, the argument about, was it too early? Released too early? Yeah, I agree with it. It was. They should have just left the mod doing its thing until the standalone was in a good enough place with at least the bare basics for base building and to allow all those other ones. But the one that I really want to know is whether Player Unknown went to Bohemia Interactive with PUBG, because he alludes to that. That's the question I have, because if he did, they must be kicking themselves if they passed that up.
Imagine how much of a different world it would be, and how much of a different world we'd be living in, and maybe even how much of a different game DayZ may have been if PUBG was a BI title. Like, because I can't help but imagine that there would be some crossover in some way, no matter how big or small. I would imagine there would be some kind of change to where they take something from PUBG. They go, oh, we really like that. Maybe we'll put that into DayZ. Well, maybe it's something like the inventory system. Maybe they make a change there or something like that. I can't imagine that they would have made a massive difference to DayZ, but I think there would have definitely been something. And crossover events as well would have been pretty cool. Having PUBG in DayZ or having DayZ in PUBG, doing some sort of weird crossover event would be pretty cool. Certainly better than the fucking dodgy Halloween servers that BI decided to put up for Halloween this year.
I've got a meme that I keep saved there for how Brian Hicks reacted when BI launched the Survivor Games game, the standalone game. Look how they massacred my boy. I'm beginning to think that Brendan must feel a bit the same about PUBG, the way Blue Hole massacred it. If Skull Speed is saying there, would have been in safer hands than Blue Hole. What were you going to say, Mass?
I'm genuinely curious. Do you guys think that if this alternate world existed and PUBG became a Bohemia game, do you think it would have actually succeeded or not? At least comparably to what it did succeed. I mean, it's not that popular anymore, but
I think it would have had a better
people still play it. And I think I don't know. I don't think so. Simply because I think it probably would have been done in the ARM engine, and we all know how that works.
Yeah, you got a point there.
I
but
think
they did
PUBG
show
would have
with
been
DayZ
worse.
they were prepared to countenance new engines, which they've done with DayZ. Marks doesn't reckon it would have done half as good. But where I think it might have done better is that modding. You know, Brendan famously said, and it's the biggest gripe I've always had with PUBG, that he wanted to make sure that, you know, modders would be able to work their magic with PUBG, like he got to work his magic with his Battle Royale mod from Armour and all the rest of it, and that never happened. And it's one thing I felt always let PUBG down was the fact that there was no modding. You're pretty much stuck with, it was all, you know, fucking loot crates. They had loot crates in the fucking game. You know, admittedly they were only cosmetic, but I would love to have seen what BI would have done with PUBG.
Yeah, it would have been interesting in an alternate universe to see how that would have gone. But I agree, I don't think it would have gone quite as well. Looking at the history of DayZ and things like that, and how that turned out. I mean, obviously it's turned out okay in the end, but it's been a hard fucking bumpy road, hasn't it? Let's be honest, up until this point. So I think it's probably was better off. But again, it was, I don't know what happened to PUBG. I haven't played PUBG since it came out on console, because a friend of mine gifted me a copy of it on console. And I probably played it for about a year, if that. And then I just gave up on it. It just wasn't good. And like, I remember PUBG was absolutely at the absolute forefront of video games in general at one point. But it's dropped so dramatically in the last few years. Like I can't think of one person that I personally know that still plays it.
I just reinstalled it.
I know somebody who plays it. According to somebody in the chat, it's got 370,000 people playing on PC.
Yeah, I saw that. Which is still pretty impressive. I'm, not taking anything away from it. It's very impressive numbers. But like I don't think I could go into playing that game anymore. I don't think I could get around to that.
Do you think it could have compared to Fortnite if it was free to play?
No.
I think if it was released before Fortnite as well. Like if it was originally free to play.
It has 16,700 people watching it on Twitch right now.
Yeah, I think they're just two very different games. Granted, they're both based on the same premise. They're both battle royales, and that the overall premise is the same. But I think because they're two so very different games, obviously PUBG's a little bit more realistic, quote unquote. Whereas Fortnite's very cartoony, and you've got obviously the
never played Fortnite, never will. PUBG appealed to me because of what Scale Speeder just wrote in chat. PUBG could be thought of as the DayZ life in 30 minutes. Loot and shoot.
I was going to say that, yeah.
It's short form DayZ, isn't it?
And that ties it back to why we brought this up, the Soviet Womble videos. Basically, DayZ, when they chose to go with DayZ Classic, pretty much ignored the Epoch-style people with their bases, although that's back now, so they're all happy. But it's still not the greatest game for PvP, although I did have someone say to me he disagreed with that. But for the PvP players who want to loot and shoot, yes, there's DayZ servers out there, but until you could play with the XML files of loot and change the spawn rates and all the rest of it, DayZ wasn't exactly the greatest PvP game. So Brendan Green was a smart man. He saw the market and he created PUBG. And I really do wonder if BI knocked it back. And if they did, like he alludes to in the video, they must be kicking themselves because it made a mountain of fucking money.
Yeah, like I say, at one point it was like one of, if not the most popular video game.
Oh, it was huge.
At that time, it was absolutely humongous. And like I say, when they brought it out on console as well, that just added fuel to that fire, same as with DayZ. But
ignoring the bad bugs on console when it first got released. But
yeah. And some of which I'm sure are still there in places. But I can't imagine going back and playing PUBG now, regardless of platform. It's just, for me, it's dead. Like, it's not a dead game by a long shot. Obviously, like you say, if we've got that many people still playing it, but for me, it's just I have absolutely no interest. And I mean, I played Fortnite when it like first came out. Me and my best mate Chops played it almost every day on Xbox together. And after a while, it got so popular it fizzled out. I think the skill gap kind of got us, and we were at the bottom of the rung and just dying miserably every time. So we kind of gave up on that quick enough.
That's one of the things that hurts those sort of games a bit, in that with PUBG now, like back when it was quite popular, I was able to get some wins every now and then, and I'm not a PvP player, but now it's pretty much down to the hardcore players who are very good at the game. You know, they can control the recoil with a fucking 6x scope on, and I'm like, how do you do that? How you know, you see Shroud when he plays in that, and he draws his mouse down half a fucking meter, controlling the recoil. I've tried to do that. Nah, I can't do it. So it's kind of, it lost its fun. I'm giving it a try again just to see what it's like, because you know I do like having a game in my library where I can jump on for half an hour, because DayZ is not a good game to jump on for half an hour unless you're jumping on Daone's deathmatch servers or something like that. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. Minecraft Battle Royale is where it's at, boys. Mark is saying.
Well,
I think every game has that problem.
Yeah, and I think there is something very unique as well about the Battle Royale genre. I think it's a little bit overplayed now. Like there's so many options out there now. It's kind of got a bit boring. It's kind of like that. You get that little bit of like fatigue, of like mental fatigue of knowing that it's you know, it's being spoken about so fucking much. But at the same time, like the few wins that I've had a couple of wins on Fortnite when I first started playing, a couple of chicken dinners on PUBG. I've had a couple on Warzone, nothing special, you know. But it's weird. It's like DayZ. Like there's no other feeling in DayZ, no better feeling than, you know, than when you hear that shot whiz past your head and you shit your pants, and you have to make that split-second decision. Do I turn and fight, or do I leg it and try to regroup? And you get a similar thing with games like PUBG, you know, Battle Royale games. When you go through and you have that final 5 minutes where the gas is closing in, the circle, whatever you want to call it, there's still X amount of people alive. Everyone's got guns. Everyone's got perks. Everyone's got, you know, fully geared. You're all on, you know, quote unquote, a level pegging. And it's just balls to the wall mayhem for 5 minutes, and finally you see that you are the winner screen, or whatever screen you've got coming up. There really is something. It's better than, I would argue it's better than any drug.
It's why I want them to bring back official Survivor games again, whether it be they team up with Keegan with his Battle Royale mod for DayZ or something, because these games are good. But like Bear Bomb was saying, there no other game makes my heart race quite like DayZ when you get shot at. And Survivor games, you know, if you haven't watched them, Google it on YouTube, or search it on YouTube. Look for the original Survivor games that Brian Hicks and the boys all did. There was nothing like them. Nothing like them. It really captured the fear that you get in DayZ of, you know, looting, and, you know, a game that ran for hours. It wasn't just a 30-minute, and yeah. Amazing.
I agree with Zombie Lee there as well. I stopped functioning and cry in a corner. That's pretty much my tactic. My tactic is like
Matt scared the shit out of me when he came into fucking voice chat with me. Oh,
yeah. But in fairness though, Boydie, you would jump at almost anything. A feather could tickle your fucking leg, and you'd think it was getting chopped off with a machete. So
I think it was a spider, and yes, that would scare me.
A lot of people have told me that my mic is very loud.
No, I turned your volume down. You sound okay to me. But I had to turn Brim down a bit as well.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing with Discord as well, though, isn't it? You've got that fine control. Yeah. You can turn each different person's volume down a little bit, so it kind of makes it easier.
Very nice.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see where Soviet Womble goes with this series. Interesting feedback, Brian Hicks on Twitter. Let me see if I can find it. I did have it up. Nope, not on that one. It'll be on this one. Notifications.
Speaking of that video, what did you guys think of the idea he had of like the three main groups? So like that DayZ is like split between three different parts of the community: the builders, the vanilla players, and the PvPers.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Do you agree with that, or
I think
there's crossover? It's not as black and white as you're only this or that. But I think he picked three good ways to categorize it. I hardcore,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think there is definitely way more of a crossover now than there used to be in the past. People are starting to find servers that are like a blend of multiple kinds of things, like how New Dawn is both survival and it has its PvP and building and all that. It's kind of a mix of all three, for example. How, other servers are more building / PvP. But yeah, I think he's right in that those are definitely like the basis of every server.
I think there's probably a fourth category as well, and that's your strict RP players.
Yes,
because they're a bit of everything, but they're more their RP is what defines them. As opposed to, I'm not talking about DayZ Underground, that's organic, so you can still KOS on it. I'm talking about the strict RP servers where you can't just KOS for the sake of it, and that's this whole separate category as well.
I can never get into that. I love a bit of RP as much as anyone. I think DayZ is all about interactions and RP, and bumping into that random person in the middle of some random town up north and having a little chat and saying, "Oh yeah, I've been here for years. I was here since the outbreak started, and blah blah blah." And and kind of weaving a little bit of RP is fine. But like, there's been times where I've looked on at servers and seen their websites and stuff, and it's literally the strictest RP. Like, you cannot you cannot fart because your character doesn't have a bum hole or something. Like, they are legitimately pinpoint on it. I'm like, no, I can't keep that up. Yeah. Not a chance.
I am the same way. I know exactly how you feel.
But I think most people enjoy a bit of RP. Like, you look at most of the popular streamers, the Running Man, he's done it. And he's quite adamant. He hates RP, but he's done it before to a lesser extent than, say, a Lax Hawthorne, who's pretty much in RP mode. Uncle Ray is in RP mode. They're just RPing something they feel comfortable doing. Yeah. But strict RP, like Dazzy's saying there, gets a bit cringy. To me, DayZ is all about the threat of any interaction could be your last one. You could walk up to someone waving your arm out and they just pull a gun out and shoot you. So that always disappoints me, but yeah.
That's why I like organic RP, because you get to have that interaction, and you also get to have that fear of every interaction at the same time, because you could be shot just for being nice, but at the same time you know in the back of your head that I'm in a server where people want to interact more often than not, so I have a better chance of actually getting interaction out of somebody than otherwise. But there's still that chance that you can get shot for it, which I need that to enjoy DayZ. I need that.
So if you haven't watched him, go check him out. Sub to his channel. He's very intermittent with his videos, but his bullshittery was some of the funniest DayZ videos, and not just DayZ, but other games similar to DayZ as well. That are definitely worth checking out. DayZ Twitter Watch, they were quite active this week, but mostly talking about stuff to do with the updates and that. I did like their be kind to one another day tweet, Brim. Were you kind to someone because of that?
I don't know. When was it? Yesterday, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. World International Kindness Day.
Yeah, the 13th. Yeah, yesterday for me, but it's probably about 2 days ago technically for you because you're a time traveler. But yeah, I don't know if I was necessarily. I wasn't unkind to anyone. I don't think I spoke to or saw anyone. I think I literally wallowed in my own filth for the day because that's just how I roll. I was literally sat at my computer with my headphones on, playing DayZ, watching TV, and just generally not interacting with another human being unless I absolutely had to.
See, I just had this image in my head, Mass, of the likes of Ben Fruit and Lax and Uncle Ray running up to randoms and going, "It's International Kindness Day. Guess what? You're fucking dead."
I can assure you that did not happen in Uncle Ray's stream. He didn't even bother with the niceties. He just shot the shit out of people.
But no, it's good to see them being active again, and really looking forward to the stuff in the future with them. Now we are on to our spotlight section of the stream, and I'm going to start it off with, so there's still a lot of people who don't know about the podcast. So I know those of you who do follow me probably get sick with me tweeting it out and stuff like that, but when I was chatting with old mate about the nice interaction he had on Reddit, I said to him that I was going to cover it on the podcast, and I actually had someone reach out to me about something else they're doing, and that's Ripu Cressy DayZ. Hey, I heard you have a podcast. I'm starting a cool new project on the official service that you might want to discuss about. Basically, we are taking over a town and forming a world community of free individuals and squads with their own homes to call their own and contribute to defense of the safe zone no matter the time of day. And I said to him, sounds cool. Basically, Barely Infected did something like that on The Village, but The Village was a private server. And as he said, It's magical precisely because it's on vanilla. And he's given me a link to the project that they're doing, but I think it's a great fucking idea. If you're interested in joining it, this is the Discord. But I think it's fantastic that they're doing this on a vanilla server where, by all accounts, vanilla is pretty PvP-ish and all the rest of it. But it's great to see someone trying something different and trying to give people, because let's face it, most people when they fire up DayZ, unless they're firing it up with a mate, they'll end up on the official servers. So I think this is a magical little project. What do you guys reckon?
It sounds cool. It sounds very
awesome.
Cool. It's something I could see happening very easily on modded. I think on official though, I don't know how well it would work. Like I say, unless you have a very, very large group of people, because there's no admins. There's no admins to keep the status quo. On modded, on community servers, there's always that threat that there's an admin. If you fuck up, that admin will deal with that issue, fingers crossed, quite swiftly. Whereas, obviously, on vanilla, you don't have that. So it is going to have to be very self-policed.
But I think that makes it more special because they don't have admins to intervene. It's all the more rewarding. It'll be heartbreaking if they get screwed over by hackers or something, but I think
that's the thing, isn't it? There's a lot of dickheads in this world that are going to see that and go, right, I'm being a knob end today. I'm going to go and ruin someone's fun, and end up making and there's nothing apart from those players that have started that camp up and are active on it. There's no way you're going to be able to stop that it's going to happen, unfortunately. So I hope it doesn't. I hope I'm being a bit too cynical for my own good, but at the same time, whilst I 100% agree, it's a fantastic idea. I love it, and I so hope it succeeds because it is a phenomenal idea. But I'm a bit more of a realist with it, maybe a bit of a pessimist. I don't see it ending massively well, unfortunately.
They've got a pretty active Discord, though. I'm just looking at it now, and they're definitely they're putting up photos of their little town and stuff like that and coming up with plans and that. I think more power to them. I think they're doing really well with something different, and if there's anything that you can all do, jump on there. I think streamers, like I even hesitated to bring it up on the podcast, but he asked me to, and I thought, well, fuck it, no, we definitely will then. But I shared it with the DayZ devs as well, but just said to them, maybe not tweet it out because anything you guys tweet out, the fucking haters and the they'll be straight onto it. And
what about console?
As somebody who's played this game for basically since 2013, I have seen a number of many player owned groups and towns that player-made safe zones. We've had them on our server as well, and as well as vanilla, of course, through the years. I really hope it works out for them, but you guys know how DayZ is.
Yeah,
there are a lot of problems with stuff like that.
I love the idea. Absolutely, that immersion, that, you know, to a degree is absolutely, that is what I love about DayZ. I love just getting completely lost in the game itself and finding that community, stumbling across a random base and there's a person in there or a couple of people. Oh, how you doing? Where are you heading to? Do you need a bit of food for your travels? Oh, you look a little bit injured there. Can I give you a couple of extra bandages? Or, do you want, we're about to go hunting. Do you want to join us? We can share the food, blah, blah. That, I fucking love that with all my heart. I love that more than fucking the air in my lungs. But there's just too many bellends that will just ruin the fun.
Yep.
That's why I agree with what you said, Boydie. Make sure the devs don't tweet out, because, like you say, Twitter's such a global phenomenon, and with the way that the DayZ, with people respond to the DayZ Twitter, I think it will only expedite the process of the dickheads, unfortunately.
I wanted to bring it up actually before I move on from it. I put a post on the DayZ Facebook group because I don't know how many of you are in there, but there is a DayZ Facebook group, and it's quite big. It's got 26,800 members. And I put a question, curious as to why some people are still in the group when they clearly hate the game with a passion. And it was an interesting response. I like this guy's response. Once you buy it, you're married to it. You will get angry, have fights, go on vacations to the coast occasionally, and maybe meet new people. Just like marriage till death do us part, or for DayZ upon death do I part. But there are people who just, like we were talking about before, DayZ just inspires a lot of emotion from people. And they hang around these groups just to shit on every fucking post that gets made. It's, amazing.
They have too much time on their hands. They need to get into modding like I did.
Yeah.
Focus on things you enjoy, not on things you hate. Like, it is fun to shitpost. I'm not saying it's not fun to shitpost. I've done plenty of shitposting, but you do it for a sense of humor. Some of these people, you just look at it and you go, you've really, really got an issue with DayZ, man. You might need to see someone.
Yeah, there's a difference between banter and piss poor mental health, isn't there? I think I don't know what side of it I fall on half the time with the way my brain works, but yeah, it's like you say, there's so many people in the community that, I say this, there's not even so many. It's a vocal minority that are the assholes, and
the people who follow the DayZ Twitter account just to say this game's shit. It's like, just unfollow
but console's still broken, and this is still broken, and I don't like this. I've literally I've made it my absolute mission in life to be a toxic trolly prick on Twitter, to counteract. I counter troll the trolls every now and then. I'll see one pop up, and I'll literally just add a little bit of fuel to the fire, and I'll find a GIF where it's like just a little like 5-year-old girl going, "Want me to call the ambulance?" Because people just it's like you throw that hook out and you feel that bite, and like, go on, son, say it, go on. People get so annoyed. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Mass, what about yourself, mate? What's been your highlight for the last week, or just in general, for DayZ related?
Namalsk. I mean, I was so once again, I'm going to throw the card out there that I'm an OG player and have been playing for a very long time. So I actually got to experience the original Namalsk. And the original Namalsk was something else, absolutely. I loved it so much. It had such a creepy, like, cold atmosphere to it. And it's just, I'm really looking forward to re-experiencing that. It had a very creepy, like it had monsters and stuff in it. We had bloodsuckers in the Namalsk. I know that's not going to be in the new mod as well, but we had like radiation storms, and we had bloodsuckers, which were like these monster things that went invisible. They're from the Stalker series. They're I'm actually planning on working on a mod that reintroduces that. We also had the Gauss rifle, which I
just did a quick search of the DayZ workshop to see if there was any Namolsk mods you added yet, but nothing yet.
I spoke with Sumrak several months ago about me being able to find the old Gauss rifle model that was in the original Namolsk mod, and he gave me permission to basically remaster it and bring it into my mod, Massive Mini Item Overhaul. I have not done it yet, but at some point I will, and I have plans for some really cool custom functionality for it, making it really rare and also very powerful. I wanted to make it like a craftable kind of thing, like you find pieces of it, and whenever it's crafted, you got like a set amount of ammunition, and whenever you use that ammunition, the gun goes to ruin, and they have to start all over.
Because we're talking about Namolsk, we have to shout out Foxypote, who's working on a Namolsk Blackout, I believe the name is, Foxy. He's also...
DayZ Blackout, the server's going to be called.
He's also just put up a video, which sadly we can't play, but he's got a trailer for his... Oh, here we go. I'll run the gauntlet. I'm muted. Good. He's basically trying to come up with a whole set of lore for his server, and it's quite a good trailer, folks. I highly recommend watching it. He's putting in the hard yards ahead of time. Every man and his dog is going to be releasing a Namol server, but Foxy's putting in a good effort right now. So I'd love it if any of you could jump on there and check out Foxy. Link your Discord as well, mate. It's for people to join the Discord for more information. It's not letting... Oh, there we go. Show more. There it is. Oh, he's just done it himself. But yeah, jump on in there, folks, and check it out. He's got a good bit of lore and all the rest of it, and it's going to be good. It's going to be great to see what people do with it. Like I said, the big challenge for me between doing my own server, the podcast, and streaming a couple of days a week is going to be finding time. Mark's is saying he wanted to go and check it out himself. I've kind of avoided it. Like I haven't even looked at maps of Namol since I first became aware of it, because one of the things I loved about Livonia was getting lost. And I'm looking forward to that with Namolsk. Getting lost and just not knowing where I am. And I can't wait to play one of the modded, the mod Namolsk maps as opposed to just the map, because I'm really looking forward to the challenge of surviving in a proper cold climate.
Yeah, see, for me, I never played Namolsk. Obviously, I know what it is, and I know a bit of the history of it, but I never played it, because I didn't join the community properly until about 2 years ago. So I've never played any of the Armor games or anything. So for me, the fact that Namolsk is coming out, it's not, the importance of it is not lost on me. And I am really looking forward to actually getting that first glimpse into what is essentially the new Namolsk. Because I can imagine, while it's probably extremely similar to the original, there's going to be some subtle changes. And like you say, with the way that Adam's doing the two separate mods, doing the map separately to the survival aspects as well, I'm really looking forward to giving it a go, both on easy mode with just the map and you know, a 5 times loot super awesome, you know, server that I'm never going to have to worry about starving, but then also have a go at that survival aspect and seeing if I can, you know, test my mettle and see if I actually am as good as my arrogant brain often thinks that I actually am.
If you guys have any questions, I could answer them.
No, I don't really have any questions about it. I'm just excited to see what Adam does with this new version of Namolsk. Because like you said, he's moved away from the lore of the old one, and he's revealed the lore of the new one through his trailer videos, which I think was brilliantly done. I'd love to know if he edited them himself, because he's got some skill if that was him editing those videos himself.
That trailer was absolutely phenomenal, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I'm so excited. It's gonna be great.
Foxy, I will not touch a server that has that. 100 players, traders, 100k start money. Oh god.
See, that's what I'm talking about though. That's the kind of server I want to go on, just to explore the map to begin with. Just so that I've got the feel for the map, so that I don't have I take away the survival aspect, so I don't have to worry about that. I can just enjoy the map in its purest form, and then I will go on and go, right, now I know where I'm going a little bit. Kind of gives me a bit of a head start once I do go for the survival side.
See, the BDSM side of me, right. The BDSM side of me comes in with, I love survival challenges, but one of the things that makes it easy for me is knowing everywhere to go. Okay, I need to find this or head to this location. Whereas Namolsk is really going to test me on my core survival skills. So that I'm really looking forward to. I am. Helkiana, do you know, is Adam going to be doing his own server? Is there going to be a Sumrax Namol server? Because if it is, I think that's the one I'd like to play on. Admittedly, the bastard will probably put it in the EU and my ping will be fucking 5,000,001. But
also, will there
be crazy too?
Yeah, and will there be a Willow Glade Namalsk as well? Because if anyone hasn't played on Helkiana's Willow Glade server, you're fucking missing out for a start, because it is a phenomenal server. As servers, as PvE servers go, it is up there. It is up there at the top. I thoroughly love it.
There will be both EU and US Willow Glade Namalsk. So I might check out yours then, Helkiana. I know Spud from DayZ Down Under is going to do a Namol server as well. And he said it's going to be as vanilla as possible. So I'll definitely check that one out as well, because the ping is just, it's playable to the in the 200s. But obviously it's much nicer than when you've got a small ping, so you're not sitting there tapping a door and waiting half a second for the door to start moving.
That's probably the best news I've heard in a while. That there's going to be a Willow Glade Namalsk, both EU and US. I can't wait for that.
Helkiana, share your Discord as well, please. Share your Discord and channel for those who haven't joined it. What about you, Brim? What were your highlights?
This week, I think the only highlight really is the it's a Wobo video.
Good old Scale Speeder again. He's one of Wobo's patrons.
Yeah, and it's the video. It's how to survive the cold. It's basically how the temperature is going to work. Like we said earlier, there's obviously those 3 big changes come into DayZ in the 1.10 update, and he's done videos basically saying what all of them are, what to expect. You know,
I think you just like his videos because of the amount of sexual innuendos he piles into them.
That definitely comes into it as well. That's just how we roll, isn't it? But yeah, it's genuinely he does do some phenomenal videos, and you know, for me, I like to know what to expect ahead of time. I don't like surprises, so for him to do those videos, and it really explains it. The one that he did on the new changes to the food and how quickly things decay and things like that. Again, that was a phenomenal video. So yeah, big love to Wobo, because he goes that extra mile to really make.
It's the quality of his videos as well, like the little chart that he's got here and the slider going up and down, and he just really does a good job. He's such a top bloke. On a personal note, I wanted to thank Wobo as well. He hit me up. It was just there. He didn't have to shout me out, but he gave me a little credit at the end there, because for those who don't know, Sumrax some time back gave me, of all people, the initial trailer footage. And he reached out to me and said, Boydie, can I use that video? And I said, I'll do you one better, mate. I've actually got the footage, the raw footage that Sumrax sent to me, and I've got it saved. It's unlisted, just for when people like him and Mark's use it as well, that doesn't have my watermark on it, so that they can use it. And yeah, he gave the credit to Sumrax there as well. So that's just a measure of the guy that Wobo is. He's a good person.
Yeah, he's at the top, but he's not looking down. He's at the top, but he's still keeping that level head. He's still, he's still part of the community, even though he's at the top of the mountain. He's helping other people up, which I think is brilliant.
So if anyone wants access to that raw footage for anything you're doing, just send me a message. Bobo loves it raw. God, Zombie Lee. But just send me a message and I'll send you a link to it. It's not anything that's exclusive to me or whatever. Sumrak gave it to me, and I'm letting anyone who wants to use it. It's there for all to use. I think the reason I just I have it as unlisted is to it's probably a bit of a prick thing of me, but I want to know who's a decent person in the community. So those who reach out to ask permission, well, they get the good footage, which doesn't have a watermark on it. Those who just
those who just steal it will have to deal with the bloody watermark. Bit of free advertising for you. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
That's when you see that video go up and you go, oh, that's my watermark there. That's when you slip into the comments and you say, that's a lovely video, mate. I like the Boydie watermark there. By the way, here's a link to my stuff. Happy Easter.
And my raffle just ended. We'll quickly do that now while we've got it up. Doing a giveaway of a podcast mug. Let's see who wins this one. Giveaways. Only
I've
five
stopped
people
using
in
CloudBot, so I don't even know how that works anymore.
Zombie Lee is the winner. So Zombie Lee, you would have just had a message sent to you. You got it's there in the chat. You click on that, mate, and it will sort you out with your new mug that you've just won, courtesy of everyone who is part of the podcast in supporting in any way, shape, or form. Speaking of which, shameless plug, DayZ podcast t-shirt. What do you think, Brim?
Very nice indeed. More shameless plug-in. I'll go. We got mugs. Got mugs now, with people's logos on them. Go get them while you can.
Brim will be listing podcast stuff on his merch store as well.
Indeed, I shall.
So it's up to you who you want to support, folks.
Or if you really want to support us all, go for the collection.
Mass, thank you so much for being here tonight, mate. It was good getting to chat to you. You're a legend of the community, mate. Like I said, I don't think there's many community servers out there that aren't using your Mass's many item overhaul pack.
It's been an honor to be here, and thank you.
Anything you want to shamelessly plug now, mate?
No, not really.
Check out New Dawn DayZ.
I love. Yeah, check out New Dawn DayZ. It's my server. And also, if you have any suggestions for my mod, I've got a channel on that Discord called the Mass Overhaul channel, and you can contact me directly from either there, or you can just send me a DM. I do not leave my DMs closed, meaning anybody can DM me as long as we are on a mutual Discord server. And don't worry about my do not disturb. I'm always on do not disturb. It doesn't mean anything. It's just to keep notifications off.
And I can co-sign on that as well, actually, with New Dawn. I did have a little run around for a couple of hours. I think it was either last night or night before. And it is a really, really fun server, actually.
It is.
The wolves can fuck off. A couple of them decided they wanted to try and chew the back of my ass crack as I came into Mishkino town, but
did you get to have a play with the metallurgy mod, Brim?
I haven't yet. No, I found, ironically though, I did find it really fucking threw me and confused me because I completely forgot what server I was on. I came across some casings for ammo.
Yeah.
So obviously then I just need that as well as other things to make the bullets. And I thought, oh yeah, that's fucking brilliant. So no, I haven't had a chance to mess around with the ammo making or the metallurgy mod yet, but it's definitely stuff I want to look into. It's really cool.
It's really good to see some great PvE focused servers that are around. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for yet another great podcast. Bloody Ben, he's the weak link of the team, isn't he, Brim?
I'm saying nothing.
running around doing. But how sus is this? The message he sends is that he's out sorting out the plumbing for his mate's mum.
Yeah, you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
Your mind went the same place I did.
Oh, God.
Bastard.
Yeah. And that's the message he sent through to us was, I'm sorting out the plumbing for my mate's mum. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think in the part of the UK he lives, that might mean something different than what it means down here and where you are. So, yeah, I think he genuinely is actually doing plumbing. I don't think he is actually doing anything X-rated with someone's mum. But then again, I will say, this is Ben we're talking about.
Exactly.
It's entirely possible that is actually what's happened.
Exactly.
I was hoping I'd get to meet him.
I have come to clean the pool.
I say, just don't you can meet him as much as you like. Just don't let him meet your mum, for God's sake.
Now, all the best, Mass. Thank you so much once again, mate. Let me just quickly bring it up. A link to your mods in the workshop. Mass. There we go. Copy page URL. So there's his other mods if you're interested in any of them for your server. But definitely check him out. He does amazing work. Mass, you are a gentleman and a legend of the DayZ community, mate. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. Last thing before we go, though. Guys and girls, please make sure you're available. What day is it, Brim? The Christmas podcast, 19th of December?
I believe so. Let me double check.
It is going to be fucking huge.
Yes,
huge.
19th of December, because otherwise the other podcast would be the unboxing day on the 26th. So yeah, 19th of December, and then we'll have a week off for Christmas, and we'll be back on the 2nd of January for some New Year shenanigans.
Got a big one for the 2nd of January. We're going back. We're going way back with another historic guest. It'll be up there with having Matt Lightfoot on and some of the stories he had to tell. I can't wait for this one. I'm not saying who it is. But yeah, Matt, you're invited to the Christmas special. Pretty much every single guest we've ever had on has been invited. Plus, we're actually going to be letting some of you guys in chat come on the podcast with us as well. So it's going to be a chance for you guys to just talk about anything and everything. It's going to be messy. It's going to be just where the vibe we're trying to go for is just a massive celebration of DayZ. You know, the podcast, it's worked. I wasn't sure if the formula would work, but I think thanks to my great co-hosts with me, we'll be drinking zombie.
Oh, yes, we will.
Brim's going to try and take the night off of work, and we're going to be starting earlier than usual, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So that would be 8 hours ago from now is when we're going to be starting.
8 a.m. UK time for us Brits, so I might not be there until a little bit later in the day, but I reckon I can make some time for some day drinking. Might make my tequila Wonderland eggnog and lose my spot on this podcast within the first hour. It'd be funny as fuck.
I've invited Minder. I've invited all the Karma crew. I've invited the Running Man. There's so many people, some really big name people who haven't been guests on the show as well. It's going to be a big one, folks. We've got some of the DayZ dev team coming on as well. So make sure you clear your calendar for it. It's going to be going. There's every possibility I might fall asleep drunk at the desk. So I'll get my son to set a reminder. Yeah. So it's going to be a huge show. I'm inviting anyone and everyone who's part of DayZ to just come on. You can stay if you fucking want for the whole thing. I don't care. It's going to be a fun night for everyone. So Mass, will you be there?
I will try my very best.
Damn straight you will.
That does sound very good, actually. I am very interested in being there and being a part of that as well. I like to be there as part of the community. I used to make Reddit videos a lot on like showcasing my mod new updates and stuff, because the community seems to like me. I don't know why.
You make good stuff, mate. You make good simple stuff that appeals to people. Yeah, you're not doing Batmobiles and stuff, mate. You're doing good, simple stuff.
Better hide that Batmobile I was working on.
and you're not in the drama either. You're one of the cool people that manages to, like I said, because you're not massively on social media. We don't see you getting involved in petty Twitter arguments and things like that, and I think that's a good thing as well.
Mm-hmm. Something we're trying to move away from ourselves.
I don't really.
Yeah.
The only drama I get into is on New Dawn, and that's just between group. That's just like group drama.
Now, all the best, everyone. Thank you so much, Mass. Brim, a pleasure as always, mate. You're a great co-host. And
agreed.
Next week, who is hosting?
Still you, I think. Let me double check. Prospective guess. Let's have a look. Oh no, Ben.
And that's Fourth from Base Building Plus next week, isn't it?
No.
No?
Nope.
Oh, I just gave it away.
Judging by what I can see on our Discord, what is it, next week, November the 21st, we have Windstride and Foxypote.
That we do.
So
that will
be a phenomenal episode.
Ah, damn! I need to speak with Windstride. He's so cool.
He is very, very cool. Very, very cool man.
I love working with him on just talking back and forth ideas and stuff. That guy, he's really an inspiration. He's the reason why I've been working on clothing items and stuff lately again.
No,
because he's just so talented in that area. He's just
and a very busy man too. A very, very busy man.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best modeler in the community, I would say, personally.
Definitely up there, no doubt about that.
Okay, guys, all the best, everyone. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Big shout out to our patrons, Scale Speeder and Jake Snow, and to everyone who subs to the channel, whether it's my channel, whether it's Brim's channel. Yeah, all the best, everyone. Check out Mass's stuff. It's probably on a community server near you without you already knowing it. He's definitely a very talented person. But Mass, thank you so much, mate.
Yeah. And if you need to know if an item is mine, just look in the description and check if it has the word mass somewhere near the end of the description. That's how you know if it's my mod.
All the best, everyone. Brim?
Pleasure as always, mate. I'll catch you in the next few days.
Okay, then. Catch you later, Mass.
Yep. See you guys later.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Ciao for now.
Been a great stream.